This video claims men are drowning in women, drowning in WAP, drowning in a sea of women, just a wet and warm ocean of women, isn't it? Really? This is what I mean.
A new article from Business Insider seems to be good news for some bachelors. Some single men are actually benefiting from the so-called male loneliness epidemic.
Okay.
Nice guys who have basic social skills and a job seem to have more romantic options than ever, especially...
What? Really? What nonsense. That is absolutely nonsense. This is one thing I find odd about modern dating. It's when they list off very basic things, very basic things. I think to myself,
nice guys, basic social skills, and job.
Who are some of these women dating? Like, these are very basic things. Men that have a job. Really? That's not a disparity in modern dating. You see, sadly for a lot of men, being a 666 man, having a lack of those characteristics can make it difficult. A job has not been an issue for many men, because a lot of men nowadays don't even need to have a job. They just need to be hot enough and love bomby enough.
Her energies, her insecure energies.
I hope you're focused and on your square. Just be hot and love bomby. That's all you have to actually be as a man nowadays. Literally.
Especially on dating apps. But with a seemingly dwindling pool of eligible men, most women are having the opposite dating experience. So for more on this, I want to bring in Business Insider senior correspondent.
Well, I mean, if most of them are going for the same men, they would have the same problem, wouldn't they? And it's a weird disparity of modern dating. How can so many men suffer from a male loneliness epidemic, yet the equal amount of women aren't?
Bullshit.
How does that make sense? Who are they dating? Unless some of them are dating the same man. Yeah, they are. Because they are. Like, I find it hilarious how women nowadays don't understand why a lot of men cheat so much. Which men? Which men? The men that are drowning in women now would have been the same men drowning in women anyway. So this video is just, I find this video odd.
Amanda Hoover to talk more about this. And Amanda, you open your story up by describing a dating experience you had with a man that seemed to be going great until you saw his apartment and it wasn't what you expected. Tell us about that and how it inspired you to write this story.
Yeah, this was last summer. You know, met a guy, nice guy, good job, fun to hang out with, all of that, you know, went on a couple of dates. But ultimately, when I saw his apartment, I saw that he kind of had a futon in several pieces that he had to put together when I arrived. He had like a light bulb hanging from the ceiling that was a little interrogation room vibed. And then I think, you know, what really...
Okay, we get her point, we get where she's going. His home was not decorated and furnished to her liking. Now, of all the things, of all the issues to have with a person, like, I mean, okay, look, we understand it from a certain perspective and point of view. Some men don't feel the need to do that. However, a lot of men decorate their homes, have pictures in their homes, furniture, an actual bed.
A job.
Yeah, we understand a lot of men don't, a lot of men do. Well, I think a lot of women will be shocked to know some men have bookcases, oh my god, and plants.
A job.
And actual curtains, oh my god. I'm sure that's so shocking. It's not shocking, it's just ridiculous. The point to understand in this is, what sort of man was he? What sort of men are the men drowning in women? Hot men, good looking hot men, possibly with a lot of money. It's the same stats, same settings. So sometimes when you hear women complain about certain basic things, you have to think to yourself, well, what sort of men are you dating? Because a lot of that is basic, normal stuff. And it's not like that even matters so much anyway, but it's like, a lot of men know they don't have to try nowadays. They bank on women's view of this male loneliness epidemic. Okay, a lot of these dudes out here lonely, I'm just gonna run through all these women. Yeah, why not? I'm drowning in it, aren't I? Yeah, carry on.
Resonance in this story for a lot of people was the kind of this like shirt cut into pieces as a curtain. And it was just clear to me that, you know, the basics that most adults do to maintain an inviting living space, you know, these weren't things that were being prioritized here.
Gotcha. Well, and so look, the takeaway here is that for guys, it doesn't have to be that hard. But you say if dating is a numbers game, the math isn't adding up. And I'm curious, I mean, what exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah, it's definitely something that I think a lot of women that I spoke to felt. But also we see it in the data. There are more women going to college and getting advanced degrees than men are. Women are more likely to talk to their close friends about really deep and meaningful things in their lives. While
okay, women are getting more qualifications, okay, and they talk and waffle a lot. Does it make them better people? You see, a lot of these stats are ridiculous and they do not make sense. Because if this really were the case, how is it that so many women who are educated and make a lot of money, why do a lot of them end up dating dusty men? It's not like they're dating a man who actually has a job. even if it's not like a high paying job. A lot of them seem to end up with men who have no job at all, no car, nothing. How does that work? I mean, that should not be, should it? Should it? Because I mean, if the disparity is a lot of men who are not educated and don't have a job, why are so many women hunting men who don't even have nowhere near anything like that? Barely even a secondary high school education. How does that work? That shouldn't make sense. However, if that man with hardly any education, any job, no car or nothing, I mean, if he's a tall, good-looking dude, in modern times, that's all he has to be. Because think about this, if the women are earning the money and they don't need to actually worry about survival, why not just move this hot bum in? Why not? Makes sense. He doesn't have to pay for anything. She can cover all the bills. You see where I'm going? You see, a lot of complaints about certain things nowadays do not make sense. Because if it simply were about men who had a job and who had qualifications, that would mean a lot of men wouldn't be single themselves, would it? And that should also mean men who have no car, no job, no education, they should be the ones suffering from a male loneliness epidemic. But that's not the case.
Message!
That's irony. That's not the case. Because the reality is the only people stopping those men who really don't try in life, from really being lonely, are women. Because there's one point a lot of men understand. There are a lot of bummy dudes out here that we as men wouldn't even save. A woman would though. A woman would. He's a con, convicted of murdering a few people. Who's going to save him? A man? No. A woman would though. A woman would. Interesting.
Men are maybe more likely to talk about events in the news. So we see this disconnect happening where women are looking for certain things and there aren't enough men, that are kind of like them. If a woman's gone to college, she might want a man who's gone to college and works in a similar field or has similar aspirations, to be an equal partner. And the data just shows that women are kind of excelling in a lot of areas as they've become more independent and able to work. They're not really willing to settle, and the men aren't necessarily keeping pace in a lot of these metrics.
Well, and I'm curious, what are some of the surprising things that stood out to you about the current state of dating for both men and women that you talked to?
Yeah.
This part's interesting. She's going to answer her own questions here, but let her continue.
I think one of the things that was the most surprising was I spoke to a lot of people that were more in their 30s or early 40s. If you're in your 20s and you're dating, maybe some of this resonates with you. But that's also a time when maybe not as many people are looking for a serious relationship. So what I found is that the men I spoke to who are doing quite well, either dating casually while they're looking for a serious relationship, maybe trying both, they said that they're having a lot of fun.
Okay, so some men are having fun, a few men are having fun, a few of the man whores are having fun. Okay, and?
It's using dating apps, meeting people through friends, meeting people in public. And the women I spoke to are not having fun. They say that dating used to be fun in their 20s. And this was really surprising for some of the men.
Wait there, woman. Why would it be surprising that for majority of women, dating was more fun in their 20s? In some of their prime years, dating was more fun for them, interesting. But for a lot of the men 30, 40 plus, dating's more fun for them. This is sort of like things men have been saying for years, isn't it? Of course, a lot of women have the most explosive fun in their 20s, of course, why not? Sadly, a lot of them get ran through so much that by the time they reach 30, 40, there's nothing left. It's pointless, isn't it? But a lot of men seem to reach their peak and primes in their 30s, 40s and 50s. Interesting. Now, obviously, it's not all men. Again, sadly, this doesn't manifest and bloom for some men. But this is why I also say to men, never stop working on yourself. You never stop working on yourself as a man.
To this day!
But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? How it's common to understand a lot of women burn through their 20s like supernovas. Then they explode by the time they hit 30.
Pro Max leftover.
Why?
That these women aren't having fun. And it's, the women feel really frustrated. They feel like it's hard to find somebody that checks off the boxes that they want. And there's just this disconnect happening.
Well, I think it's a fascinating piece, and you got a couple of laughs in the newsroom, just kind of going through some of these anecdotes. But I do think it's actually going to help a lot of people. So Business Insider senior correspondent Amanda Hoover, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much, Amanda. You made some very good points. You answered your own questions, and all you did was re-emphasize why a lot of modern dating is as weird as it is. The point she used didn't talk anything about the character and personality of the man, what sort of man he was, how he carried himself as a human being. But no, he didn't really decorate his house too well. Yeah. Men tell women to choose better. We say choose better, and women have no idea what we're talking about. They still keep picking crap men than blaming us on a whole. No, it's a you problem, woman.
Okay, here's my question for y'all. When men are on Hinge, is it the same thing that us girls go through where it's literally insulting, like the matches we get, and it's like a bunch of uglies? Do they have just like girl boss after girl boss? Because No. As a man who's been on dating apps, no, you do not get girl boss after girl boss. Interestingly enough, even as a man, the percentage of women on dating apps are actually
good looking to hot. Probably like 30%, 30%. If we're being fully honest, my God. I've seen some women on dating apps where I'm like, to be honest, I would never notice you in person. Good God, I would never notice you in person. I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. So no, it's not baddie after baddie after baddie. Yeah, you wish. It's an illusion and delusion that a lot of women think all of the women out here are baddies. No, they're not. No, they're not, sadly.
I feel like they have all girl boss after girl boss because
No.
I'm looking at all these girls around me and I'm like, you're amazing. So like, what?
Looks, money and status are so important nowadays that without that as a man, you will struggle. You will not have anything. Nothing to do with personality. Just be hot or rich enough.
Focus.
The world is yours. Have a nice day.
Nice guys, basic social skills, and job.